Burning it down. Well, they're not going to be burning it down, but it's going to be a lot of fun when the Shepherd Center has their, I don't know, maybe they will be, with the guitars.
Yeah, yeah, maybe.
You know what I'm saying,
You
Ron?
know, you got the tribute to Jerry Lee Lewis on the piano there. He goes a little crazy. So
Oh gosh,
yeah,
yes. Absolutely.
yeah.
So Rod's here to talk about the Shepherd Center's upcoming benefit concert. They become a real hit here in southern Minnesota.
Yeah, and that's kind of looking back when we first started this years ago. Shepherd Center, like I'm sure most nonprofits, always struggle financially because there are so many programs and services that we want to offer, but you need funding to do that. And I tell you what, with this board of directors we've got, they're so ambitious and they're looking at what does the community need and we should do this and it's great, but yeah, we have to come up with the funding. So we decided let's try a concert. Because I said that's kind of a win-win. You get to you buy a ticket, see a great show, but at the same time you're supporting Shepherd Center. So I think it kind of works out good. So we made I guess the biggest plunge we made was when we had Ricky Skaggs come in, and that was just such a huge success that we've continued it each year now. And our number one goal when we first started doing this was we want to make sure we bring in a really, really good show so people know that when it's a Shepherd Center concert that it's going to be good. And I think that worked because I had some calls, in fact, from the Faribault area saying, you guys always put on, they're always so good. And I'm like, that's what we wanted to do. So I think the show we have coming up on Friday, April 7th is going to be right in there with some of the best we've had.
Yep, that's next Friday.
Yeah, Friday, April 7th, coming up pretty close already. And they call it One Night in Memphis. And it's kind of based on this actually happened, I guess. At Sun Recording, our studio, these four stars got together. They all happened to be there at the same time and just got together and did some jamming and some music, and they recorded it. And I mean, when you talk Johnny Cash and Elvis Presley and Jerry Lee Lewis and Carl Perkins, there's four pretty noteworthy guys right there.
Yeah, they're all in the same room.
Yeah, all in the same room. And, we'll get John Mueller on maybe a little, and he can maybe tell a little bit more about the history. But John Mueller put this whole show together. He's out in California, so we'll let him sleep a couple more minutes before he comes. It's earlier out there, isn't it?
Yeah.
But should be a great show. I mean, I love that kind of music. If you like rockabilly or if you like gospel or 50s rock and roll, that's what you're going to hear performed live. And they have different people, of course, in the show, tributing to Johnny Cash and Jerry Lee Lewis and Carl Perkins. And
the neat thing about it too, Rod, is all generations love this music.
I know, yeah. And they do a great job. If you want to get a sample of it, you can actually go on YouTube and just look for search for One Night in Memphis, and you can bring up and see a little sample of it too. But these guys are good. It's gonna be a lot of fun that night in Cannon Falls. Of course, the auditorium is just. I mean, I love that auditorium for concerts. It's just the acoustics, the atmosphere, everything. It's really nice.
And it really is mislabeled. It's
yeah.
When you think of an auditorium, you think of a gym.
Right, and I get a lot of calls on that at Shepherd Center too, saying, "So is this like in the gym or what's this?" I mean, no, it's like an auditorium with nice, comfortable seats. And I've told you this, and I think you've told people too, that when Ricky Skaggs walked in, he's like, he was just speechless. He says, "There's not a high school in Tennessee that has an auditorium like this."
Right.
So, yeah.
And, the acoustics are terrific.
Yeah.
It was built right.
Yes, it was. And,
so.
Great
There's
venue.
not a bad seat in the place.
No, there isn't really. I mean, it only holds 632 people, and you got it. There's not a bad seat. We have people that prefer to sit, in the balcony.
Sure.
A lot of them like to sit up there, and some like to sit down close. So, yeah, it's great seating all the way around.
Well, I've been in the balcony. I've been in the back.
Mm-hmm.
I've been the Caitlin Smith. I was about midway on the far left side, and there hasn't been a single time where I didn't enjoy the concert.
Right. Yeah.
They've all been terrific.
Yeah.
So you guys have hit it out of the park, in my opinion.
Well, and we hope this can continue. We hope we can continue to bring really good entertainment to Cannon Falls. Being we've got the facility there, and being it's helping Shepherd Center. It is really crucial to Shepherd Center. I mean, these concerts are so important to the funding of the programs of Shepherd Center. So, I'm hoping again. I think we've sold out our last 4 concerts, and I'm certainly hoping for another sellout for this one. It would be great.
I would hope so. Now, we're going to find out more about what the Shepherd Center does in the next segment. We'll hear from Mr. Mueller, who organizes this concert, put it together. We'll find out the origins of all of this. I think Rod touched on that with his jam session that happened in Nashville. But we'll get it right from Mr. Mueller. When our AM Minnesota program.
Thank you, John, for being there.
Morning, John.
We certainly appreciate it, John.
Sure.
Fantastic. So John's out on the West Coast and had to get up early for us. We appreciate that, right, Rod?
Yeah, we do. Yeah. And,
No problem.
Good to have you here. You're out in California, right?
Well, actually, this morning I'm in Laughlin, Nevada, but same time zone. I had 5 shows here this past week, and last night was our last one, so we're heading off this morning.
All right.
You know, Laughlin, Nevada is founded by Owatonna guy.
Is that right?
Owatonna, Minnesota. Yeah,
Yep.
Don Laughlin. He's from this
Don
area.
Laughlin from Minnesota. I did
Yes.
not know that. Huh.
Yep. So we got a great connection there.
Yeah, great.
John, how did you come up with the idea for One Night in Memphis?
Well, actually, an agent kind of keyed me in on it. He had called me and said a lot of venues were requesting kind of a tribute to these 4 guys because this $1 Million Quartet Broadway musical was pretty popular, but apparently to do that show for one night a place was extremely impractical and expensive because of the, bringing in set pieces and just a lot of expenses. So, I mean, it was a crazy price. He told me. I won't even tell you what it was, but it was pretty ridiculous for any venue to be able to make that happen, So I was always a fan of those 4 performers, and I'm pretty much a fan of the top 10 50 stars, Elvis, Everly Brothers, Buddy Holly, Chuck Berry, Jerry Lee Lewis, Fats Domino, Little Richard. All those 10 or so greats were just amazing to me and irreplaceable, and anytime I can help keep their music alive, I really enjoy it. And also, this show was a chance for me to kind of step back and not be the main star of it, per se. Like, I play mostly guitar in the show. I sing a few Carl Perkins songs, but I kind of let the other guys do the main entertaining, which is kind of interesting and challenging and fun for me all at the same time. And it's as a creative person, I wanted to do something on the side that was not the same thing I've been doing for 15 years with the Winter Dance Party. Not that I don't love doing that too, but I just wanted something else to as an offshoot,
Yeah, for those who went to the Winter Dance Party, Rod.
Yeah.
That was a great show.
You know how great the show is, and John, the other guys in this show, One Night in Memphis. Tell us about them.
Sure, yeah, that's a great question because they're very special. We'll start with the Jerry Lee Lewis guy, Blair Carmen. He was the only Jerry Lee Lewis performer that the actual real Jerry Lee Lewis invited to his 75th birthday party for him to play. Yeah, Blair's a very religious guy, and that's Jerry Lee Lewis respected that because he grew up in the South too, and Blair grew up in Kentucky. And anyway, there was a big connection there, and they just respected each other so much, and so that's pretty cool. And Blair, in real life, is the most humble, quiet person you ever want to meet. And when he gets on stage playing their songs, it's pretty. He comes to life and really is like the wild man himself. So, and he sounds exactly like him, which is great. The Elvis guy, Brandon Bennett, performed in the original $1 Million Quartet show in Chicago, I think, for 8 years straight. I'm lucky to have him. He's from the South as well, so he has that authenticity that Elvis did, and he looks a lot like him, sounds like him. And another great guy, family man. He has 5 kids and lives in Ponchatoula, Louisiana. And the Johnny Cash, Sean Barker, is probably the number one Johnny Cash guy in the country. And he lives in Las Vegas now. And myself singing Carl Perkins songs. whose material I just love doing. It's Blue Suede Shoes, probably one of my favorite songs, and just great stuff. It's a great cast. Pretty much all of us, Sean Barker and myself, we were actually, the original $1 Million Quartet in its inception was rehearsing in Hollywood, and that was me, Sean Barker, and two other guys, and they wanted us all, and then eventually the show was shelved for about 6-7 years. So we went on doing our own thing with our other shows and stuff, and never heard back from them. But once it got going, they got funds for it and everything. We were too busy with our other things, but I thought it was interesting for people to know that myself and Sean were the original guys for the $1 Million Quartet.
A lot of talent going to be there Friday, April 7th. And John, what kind of explain to the people what kind of a show can we expect that night?
Well, it's very kind of loose and like a jam session, if you will, kind of like what they originally did that night. Though we've, of course, rehearsed and it's a polished professional show. There's a lot of joking around on stage like they did. There's some anecdotes, how songs came to be and how that night came to be and whatnot. And then it's a very high energy show, like Winter Dance Party, where by the end of the night you're just kind of you can't resist being on your feet and rocking out to these songs. It really shows you how this music has not died and how fun and energetic it still is, because it really gets a great reaction everywhere we do it.
Yeah, as I mentioned to Rod, this is multi-generational. Even the younger people love this music.
Yeah, thank goodness there was that Johnny Cash movie not too long ago. That really turned on a new generation to his music, because, they thought he was cool and he was a rebel, and that appeals to kids in their teens, when they're going through that phase. And so it's great. It definitely attracts younger people as well.
Did you go through that phase, Rod?
I think I've always been in that phase. I don't know.
You didn't go through that phase, did you really? John, how about you? Did you go through that phase?
I did. I had a horrible year in my teens. I think I was about 16 or 17, where you have that phase where you think your parents don't know anything and they're just a bunch of old fogies, and I just looked at them with such contempt, and now it just pains me now to think of that, because they were my biggest supporters, Yeah.
Well,
my dad was the coolest guy on the planet. We were driving cross country once when I was moving to Los Angeles for my entertainment career. We were lying in the hotel room, and he said, "I'm the luckiest man in the world, and your mom's like my best friend, and you kids are great." And I was like, "Dad, I was kind of horrible for the year there. I was just, no, don't worry. I was the last of all my siblings." And he said, I went through that with your other brothers and your sister. It's same thing. Went through all. I went through that with them, and they, they grow out of that phase, and then they become your best friend again. And so he was a really wise guy in that respect. Thank goodness.
You can speak, John, of the acoustics in the facility there, the Cannon Falls Auditorium. It's awesome.
Oh, it's a great auditorium, and I can't remember the name of the guy he had on the sound there. It was a young kid.
Yeah, we had a couple of them. Yep. Mm-hmm.
They were great.
Yeah.
I mean, when I first saw them, I was like, "Oh, they're so young. They're not going to know anything about this music or how to properly mix it." But I told them what we wanted, and they really nailed it. And we loved playing there. Had a little incident last time we were there that was interesting, but I don't think that's going to happen again.
No, it's not. No.
So,
John, can you tell us a little, that one night in Memphis? I mean, that actually happened, and how did that all come together? Kind of, what's the background on that?
Yeah, it's a great little story. Carl Perkins had a recording session booked on December 4th, 1956. He was really trying to get a follow-up hit to Blue Suede Shoes recorded, and I think he did. The first song he did was called "Your True Love," and on that session, Sam Phillips had started working with a young piano player from Faraday, Louisiana, which was Jerry Lee Lewis. And Jerry Lee Lewis was on that session. This is a funny little anecdote. They finished that song, and then Sam Phillips, the producer of Sun Record Studios, he said on the overhead speaker, he said, "Hey, I think that's a hit." And then Carl said to Jerry Lee Lewis, "You just met him that day." He said, "What do you think, Jerry Lee?" And he said, "That song ain't worth a damn." Cocky little kid. And it kind of peeved Carl, but he didn't. Carl was a gentleman, and he didn't say anything, but he started recording this song called Matchbox, which we do in the show, and the Beatles ended up covering this song as well. And I think he took his aggression out, what I read, in the guitar solo for that song, which is a great little riff and stuff. And then when he finished that song, he's like, he's kind of looked at Jerry Lee like, "Take that," And unbeknownst to, so they finished that recession. They take a little break, have some lunch, and they start recording another song. And Johnny Cash drops by, and none of these guys knew that Carl was going to be there necessarily. And so they just started talking and chatting and having some fun, and then Elvis drops by, and then they really start all playing music together. And it's pretty interesting. If you listen to, you can buy the original CD called The $1 Million Quartet. It's just a bunch of outtakes. They don't finish a lot of the songs, but it's like being a fly on the wall with these guys. And then one thing that really hit me over the head was how much church music, like gospel music, they all shared in common with each other. That's what their first exposure really to music was, and they all played a lot of gospel during that night. And we do some of that in the show as well. And it's just a great microcosm of what rock and roll has elements of: gospel, country, rockabilly, and kind of hyped up rhythm and blues. You'll hear it all that night and that evening. And those guys had no idea that they were being recorded, so it's pretty cool.
Yeah, Sam Phillips must have just sat there and went, "Wow, this." He's the one that decided to record it, I think, right?
Yep, keep that tape rolling.
Sure.
Yeah,
yeah, keep the tape rolling, and it's an amazing piece of documentary history of rock and roll, because just the fact that they didn't even know it was being recorded was really great.
Mm-hmm.
It's actually the multi-million-dollar quartet.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, exactly.
So people there that night not only going to hear great music, but I'm sure some good stories too about those gentlemen.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a full evening of entertainment, and it's very infectious music. It's like people really get on their feet or get very excited by the very end of it. It's fantastic.
Did you ever get to meet any of these guys yourself?
I got to meet Sam Phillips. My brother got to meet Carl Perkins. But I got to meet Sam Phillips. I did a rockabilly festival once in Jackson, where was it? Jackson, Tennessee, yeah. And where Carl lived. And got to meet Sam Phillips. Stan Perkins, his son, I got to meet. And Sam Phillips was a quirky guy, very interesting character. But he probably was the dumbest decision he ever made was giving Elvis up for $36,000 to RCA Records.
Oops.
I think that would make me kind of quirky and weird later on in life too.
Yeah, you got that right.
Oops.
Whoops. Yeah.
Anything else, Rod?
Just really, I think people are going to love this show, and I hope you can come out and help support Shepherd Center. Just have a really fun night, because John, it's fun. It's great music, and people have a great time.
Yeah, it's a great group of guys too. You'll see that on stage, the camaraderie that these older artists originally had, and I only work with people that are good, easy to get along with and stuff, and you'll see that on the stage too, and it's infectious, and Yeah, the audience have a great time. It's for a good cause, and we look forward to coming out there.
Yeah, looking forward to having you here, and it's going to be a great night. So thank you for taking some time out this morning to visit with us. We appreciate it.
Oh, my pleasure.
We'll see you on April 7th.
Yeah.
Sounds good.
All right.
Fantastic. I'm going to let you go, John, okay?
All right, you guys have a great day now.
Mueller joining us from California, Rod.
Nevada, Laughlin, Nevada.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah,
He was in Laughlin.
yeah. Just did, what did he say, 5 shows. So, yeah, he's a busy guy, very talented guy, and he's put together an unbelievable show here the one night in Memphis, and these guys know how to put on a show.
If anything, on a winter dance party, it's going to be fantastic.
Yeah. And again, tickets are available. You can pick them up. If you're in Cannon Falls, you can either stop by the pharmacy at Econo Foods. You can stop by Cannon Valley Video and Tanning. You can stop by the Shepherd Center and you get your tickets there. They're $35. And keep this in mind, you don't have to pay for parking or anything like that. Parking is easy. You pull up to the auditorium there and you park and you come right in and enjoy the show. If you want to get them online, you can do that too. You just go to onenightinmemphis.eventbrite.com, and Brite is B-R-I-T-E. So again, onenightinmemphis.eventbrite.com. The doors will open up at 6 o'clock that night. The show will start at 7, and again, it's over 90 minutes of rockabilly, country, gospel, and pure 50s rock and roll. It is going to be a great night.
You'll be tapping your toes.
Oh, yeah. And we want to thank, too, we have some great sponsors stepped up to help us do this show. Vasa Spring Garden Mutual Insurance, Hancock Concrete, Nelson Insurance, Freeburg Insurance, First Farmers and Merchants Bank, State Farm Insurance, the Cannon Eye Clinic, the Merchants Bank, the Cannon Falls Fire Department Relief Fund, and Cannon Falls VFW and Lions Club. Thank you. All these great sponsors helped put this together, too.
So tell us a bit more about the Shepherd Center, if you would. What do these...
Well, Shepherd Center, we've been around. This is our 21st year, I think, and we like to say we are seniors serving the community. And kind of in a nutshell, what it's for, it's not a membership or anything, but for seniors 55 and older, we try and find ways to keep, first of all, seniors active, and then in the same way help the community. Whether it's being, helping with taxes or whatever that might be. We offer all kinds of such a wide range of service. We do drivers for Meals on Wheels. Physical activity now has gotten real big the last couple of years. We do the pickleball, which has gone, wow. I mean, we have pickleball going Monday through Friday, 9 to 3, and 2 courts available now, soon to be 3, and they're busy like all the time, which is great.
Wow.
Cannon Falls Boomers, the senior softball team, is another service that we offer. We do some trips. We do... Boy, I should have brought my notes in because there are so many things that Shepherd Center is involved in. But it's mainly programs and services to help support not just the seniors, but a lot of it is for the seniors, but to support the Cannon Valley area, the community.
You still read to third graders?
Oh, yeah. We got our book buddies every week. Every Thursday we read to the first graders. And then, by the way, you were at that with Gordon Fredrickson.
Yeah,
He's going to
awesome.
do that again this year. So all year we read to 4th graders, and then we have Gordon Fredrickson, who's an author, come in and does a great presentation. And then we give all the first graders a brand new hardcover book for them to keep and take home. So, yeah, that's thanks for remembering the Book Buddies program. That's another one we do.
A great program.
Yeah. And we really started to doing salute to veterans. We got into saluting the Vietnam veterans, which turned out really good for us because those are the guys, that didn't get a lot of recognition when they came back.
Yep, we had the wall here last
Yeah.
summer.
And we, on Veterans Day this past November, I think we honored 35 Vietnam veterans. And we had so much interest, we did another program and did another, I believe, 25 at that time where we recognized them and gave them a lapel pin. And we'll probably be doing it again yet some other time, too. So.
Yeah. And it is too bad that we didn't do it when we first got back.
Mm-hmm. So
There's some really sad stories.
Yeah. But again, with the concert, your chance to help support Shepherd Center of the Cannon Valley and all the programs and services that we offer to the community. And you're going to see a great show at the same time. So I hope we have another sellout. I really do, and I think we might. It's tickets have been going very, very well. Not a bad seat in the house, as we said. It's a great venue. These guys are unbelievable performers, and you're gonna enjoy it. I guarantee it.
Now, before I let you go, Rod, you
Yeah.
were telling me a story, and you didn't get a chance to finish it about Garth Brooks had some nice things to say about Caitlin Smith.
Yeah, actually,
Cannon Falls native.
this was just on. Caitlin was actually, I think, last week down in Texas doing a series of concerts, and there was some event where Garth Brooks was down there too, and I think Garth was maybe in the day before, but they interviewed Garth and they brought up Caitlin Smith, and his comments were so complimentary. He more or less said he thought she is probably the best female country singer out there right now, and he just sang her praises. And then they did an interview with Caitlin, and then came back and played the clip of Garth. So it was kind of fun. But she's doing well. Caitlin Smith, yeah, signed a record deal now. So, and of course she was our last concert we had.
Well, and when you see her talent, you wonder how has she not made it big time
I know.
yet. Now she has written some very big hits.
Oh, as a songwriter, yeah. I mean, she's had Kenny Rogers and Dolly Parton and Garth Brooks and all, you name it. They've recorded songs that she's written, and now she's really starting to make it as a performer, and wish her the best of luck. I think she's going to do it, too. She's doing well.
Yes, packed with talent.
Yes.
And the young lady she had with her that night was very good.
Yes, you bet. Yep. And she's down in Nashville, too, so it's a lot of fun to try and kind of keep up and keep an eye on their careers.
Yeah, when she was on with us last, they just had a child.
Yep. Mm-hmm. Yep. So, and I think they bring the little guy with them a lot when they go out on the road, so that's kind of nice.
That's fantastic. And of course, when she came home, that had to be nice for her.
Yeah, because from Cannon Falls and from this area, so.
Well, again, those tickets available?
Yep,
Those
they're available.
locations?
You can pick them up in Cannon Falls at Shepherd Center, the pharmacy, at Akana Foods. You can stop by Cannon Valley Video and Tanning, or you can get them online at onenightinmemphis.eventbrite.com. Get them. I'd get them soon because, like I say, our last 4 concerts are basically sold out, so you don't want to miss out and wait too long. So pick them up. You will love this show. The music from that area is great, and these performers are the best there is. So One Night in Memphis, all in support of Shepherd Center. Hope to see everybody there on Friday, April 7th. Doors open at 6, the show at 7. It's going to be fun.
And Rob is nice enough to share a few tickets with us. We'll be giving them away on the air. You're in tune to KDHL AM, Faribault, Minnesota. Have yourselves a super day.